China has been called upon by other nations, in particular the Western world, for years, if not decades. It's been called out for unfair trade practices, if you like, unfair practices in the world of trade, stealing intellectual property, gaming its currency, imposing quotas and the like. Has Donald Trump done the right thing in finally having some confrontation there with China, imposing tariffs and the like on them to try and get some action, or is this going to be counterproductive in the long run?
Well, on the one hand, there's no doubt that increasing tariffs in the United States on Chinese exports costs the United States, it costs China, but there's a price that Americans pay, and it's not good for the reputation of the global trading system. On the other hand, just as you describe it, there are significant problems where the United States has much less access to the Chinese market than the Chinese have to the American market. They have much less access for their investors in China than Chinese investors have in the United States, and President Trump is determined to balance that up. So whether this policy has proved to be effective or not will depend on whether by the time the next US election comes, President Trump has been able to achieve a substantial agreement with the Chinese which gives greater access to the Chinese market for both American exports and American investors. If he does, it will have been, yes, an investment, a costly investment, but an investment that yielded a good result.
But China will make a political decision, won't it, as whether they might hold out, knowing that might hurt him, and they take a risk on him not being re-elected.
Well, yeah, but I'm not sure whether they would do that because it's not entirely obvious which party China would prefer. Yeah. We apparently believe that Russia would prefer President Trump to Hillary Clinton. Yeah. We apparently think that. But in the case of... I'm not sure. I mean, this begs the question whether the Democrats would be softer on China than the Republicans.
Well, that's what they'd be gambling on.
Well, but there's no sign of that. I mean, President Trump's trade policies in respect of China are pretty much bipartisan in the United States.